It's an interesting morning, I must say.
Absolutely, Mike. Absolutely.
All right, moving ahead now. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to President Buhari over the state of Nigeria has continued to elicit diverse reactions from Nigerians.
But one thing many agree on is the fact that the former president has succeeded in getting the nation's attention. In that letter, the former president warned about insecurity in the country and how Nigeria could slide into chaos if the government does nothing.
Now, he says the insecurity challenges can no longer be ignored, treated with nonchalance, swept under the carpet, or treated with a cuddling glove. Joining us in the studio is the lawyer and public affairs analyst, Libros Oshoma. It's nice to have you join us.
Welcome.
My pleasure.
Exactly. And we also, yes, exactly.
Here we also have a public affairs analyst, Mayokun Ilu. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's nice to have you join us. Now, there has been, diverse reactions, trailing the letter from the president. And we got, on the papers this morning, there's a reaction from the presidency, saying that, that stance is a little unpatriotic and all of that. But how does this letter come to you? Let me start with you, Mayoko.
Yeah, thank you. The echo may belong to the former president, but definitely the voice there is the voice of the average Nigerian.
All right.
Nigeria is in the throes of an existential crisis. We are not doing a good job of tackling unemployment, tackling poverty, and tackling inequality in our society. It's a big issue. I wouldn't want us to be very partisan about it. Fine, we've had issues with the president, his position on issues over the years, but on this particular issue, he is speaking the mind of Nigerians. The least we can do, the least the presidency and the powers that be can do, is to take it serious. Forget the messenger, focus on the message. The people you need to be afraid of are not the Obasanjos of this world. They are the unknown unknowns, people who have little or nothing to lose. People who have been pushed into acts of desperation, because there are no jobs or because they are perceiving inequality in society. That is the main issue. If we do something about that, then probably nobody will have to see the consequences of what Obasanjo is talking about.
All right, let's bring it to Liberals now, because the reaction, some have said that he should be arrested, especially because of the language he used, saying that the insecurity is now taking the face of a particular group or a particular tribe, and because of that, it's putting the country on the edge, so to speak.
Are we not on the edge? That's the question you would ask. Are we not on the edge? You remember also, I sometimes wonder why presidents and presidency in Nigeria will always, play politics with everything and miss the point of the discourse. During Goodluck Jonathan's time, he came up with the same statement that there's insecurity everywhere, maybe this is our own turn. And it's similar to what President Buhari is also saying now, there's insecurity everywhere. We agree there's insecurity everywhere. The only thing that others are doing is that they are tackling it headlong. We are not tackling us. That's the point of departure. And so, it is also a notorious fact that there is a recurrent tribe mentioned in all of this crisis. So we can't shy away from the fact that we can't say because the president is of Fulani extraction, and so if the crimes are committed by some bandit, who I believe are truly not representative of what the average Fulani stands for, we shouldn't also, cry out that, look, these people are Fulanis. What I expected the elite, of that tribe to do is to stand up and say, look, we need to fish out the bad eggs amongst us, and not to begin to call for the arrest of somebody who's pointing, the clog amongst you to you. And so that's why, at the end of the day, we pay these condolence visits, we sermonize about it until the next one happens. It's just unfortunate.
But the point there is, let me stay with you, Liberals. A lot of Nigerians have also said that because the way the media has put these issues forth, the concept of mentioning a particular ethnic group in Nigeria has been over-sensationalized in such a way that Nigerians are no longer objective. Whatever happens, whether it is right or wrong, there's a way of profiling and then mumbling everything to...
I agree with you, but, you know, something led to it.
Okay.
I asked the question, where those days you used to hear of Sisterton's robbery on the Benin bypass. But what happened to all the robbers? Have they gone on holiday or they've changed tribe? But the thing is that when there is consistent strike by headers, and then you keep quiet about it, what the pressure you're giving is that, you know, there are a group of persons that are untouchable. So what will happen? The local robbers will naturally, you know, collaborate with those untouchables, quote and unquote. And so when it happens, the face of those that you're going to see will be the untouchables and not the inhabitants. So in all of this, behind every crime committed by, be it headers or militants or what do you call it, bandits, there are locals who understands the terrain, who also are involved. But because of the body language of government over the years, when headers are mentioned, we shy away from it. And so you see a collaboration happening now. And that's why even some people that have been kidnapped on that Benin bypass or on the Benin or a highway, some of them will tell you that those that kidnapped them were different from those that, you know, they handed them to in the bush. And so you see a collaboration. So rather than us confronting this menace, you're saying, oh, let's not mention tribe. But the question people have asked is that, is it also not true that people from these tribes who are headers, is it that they are not involved in this crime? Let's separate, you know, the crime from the people, and then we'll get to the solution of all of this.
All right. Another aspect I'd like for you to touch on, Michael, is the aspect of, still on the reaction, we find that persons of different ethnic extractions react in different ways. But we know insecurity knows no tribe or color or anybody. And so this thing seems to be separating us.
Okay, let me come in this way. Some 2 days ago, I went to see my mom. She told me she would like to go see my elder sister who lives in Ife. I shut down the idea. You know, Ife is just like maybe 200 kilometers from here. It's part of Yoruba land. But the whole idea of, okay, this is an insecure time. Don't even dream about it. We are doing something in August. I'm thinking of telling my sister, don't bother coming. You guys just stay there, you know, whatever needs to be done, we do and pass the message across to you. It's getting to us. Yeah. You know, whether we acknowledge it or not. If you can't visit your village in Ogun State or your state because there's the one-off chance that something untoward might happen, it's creeping in. You know, people find it easier going to London than going to Ibadan.
To Ibadan or Ife.
You know, it's getting to us. It's not because Obasanjo is shouting or somebody else is talking. This is the reality that is creeping in on us. You know, personally, I made the decision that, okay, Nigeria is all I belong to. You know, I'm not thinking of relocating and the rest of them. But yesterday, one of my kids did a graduation in primary 6, and I'm already thinking, what kind of country am I bequeathing? I'm beginning to, like, change my orientation because this country belongs to all of us. But at the end of the day, if some people feel that, okay, they are more Nigerian than the rest of us, then there are two things up to you. Either you fight or you fly. You know, I don't pray we have to leave the country. But this is an issue that is worth exploring.
Well, the point there is, we wonder if the government has lost the capacity. Certainly not. Let us, we have to put it out there. It is not. But how come it's so challenging to handle this issue head-on?
You know, we are not using the right method. Everything, life itself, you know, man is by nature a political animal. And so you can't take politics out of issues. So don't say, oh, people will play politics with it. But the facts remain that don't allow them play politics with it. And that's why when issues happen, the instrumentality of the law is activated immediately to act so as to forestall further occurrence. But the moment you look the other way because your brother is involved or your friend's son is involved, what you are invariably telling those who are not carrying arms but have the capacity to is that, look, you know, go carry arms. That was the same way we condemn amnesty program for certain persons. That when you are telling those that have the capacity that are not doing it, that it pays to carry arms. And so when there is a clash in Ondo and somebody, a respected statesman comes out to say, headsmen attacked my farm, kidnapped me. And then you say, oh, no, 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 don't call them headsmen. Don't describe them in the language that you're, and then rather than address the problem, you leave the problem, you begin to talk about the tribe, you begin to talk about, and then you consistently, and also you find out that when it happens, the soldier will tell you, yeah, the issues are overrated. The police will say, we're on top of the game. No ransom was paid until the next one happened. So what we should be doing is, look, all crimes are local. You can't sit down in Abuja and begin to fight local crime. That's why the police now is telling you they are creating Operation Puff Adder in that zone. You need to also have locals empowered, be it policing, be it calling them any name, but empower them to be able to address the issues locally and volunteer information and then do something with the information. If you don't do that, you wait to pay condolence visits often.
All right. We have to leave it here now. Thank you very much, Libras Shama, for coming on.
Always my pleasure.
Mario Kunilo, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Right. President Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to President Muhammadu Buhari over the state of Nigeria has continued to elicit diverse reactions from Nigerians.
But one thing many agree on is the fact that the former president has succeeded in getting the nation's attention. In that letter, the former president warned about insecurity in the country and how Nigeria could slide into chaos if the government does nothing. He says the security challenges can no longer be ignored, treated with nonchalance, swept under the carpet, or treated with cuddling glove. Joining me is public affairs analyst Mayokun Ilu. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.
Now, like we said in our script, that there's been diverse reactions to this letter. And one of the reactions I would like for you to react to is that that came from the president, where he said that the focus on the Northeast heightened insecurity in other parts of the country. What do you make of this?
I think to some extent the president is right. But that doesn't mean the others who are complaining are wrong. It's a question of perspective. And the president is one who should see all viewpoints. He should react and respond appropriately. The fact that we've had issues in the Northeast, we've had issues of Boko Haram. Like yesterday, I had a report, on air that most of this problem we are calling herdsmen crisis are people, some of them are people who have been in Boko Haram, who are pivoting into other things that are maybe marginally acceptable, if you can call it that way. They've had trainings in other countries outside of Nigeria in terrorism and the likes. And now they are coming back to terrorize Nigerians. Maybe they have some agenda, we don't know. Maybe it's purely economic, we may not be sure, until there is a concerted effort. Something bordering on security, bringing everybody to the table and tackling it with the seriousness.
Bringing everybody to the table. We're having a national discourse because in Obasanjo's letter, that was one of his suggestions, saying that there should be a national discussion on security where you have former heads of state and all of those, and also traditional leaders, whether they were active or inactive, so to speak, to have a discussion on the way forward. Will having a discussion actually resolve this problem?
It might not, but it is a good start. Someone said it is better to jojo than to war. Someone also said vigilance is the price of liberty. We have to be awake to our responsibilities. When you get people talking, grievances can be heard. People will say what is on their mind.
But we have had discussions before.
We have had white papers.
How
in fact, it
effective
is said
was
that Nigeria is the country with the most white papers in the whole world. We are good at talking, but when it comes to execution, when it comes to maybe executing whatever it is that we've talked about, we lag behind. These are part of the things we should talk about. Maybe another committee to set up and talk about, okay, why is it that we only talk, we don't carry out actions on the things we have achieved?
All right, Mayokun Ilu, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.
President Olusegun Obasanjo's letter to President Muhammadu Buhari over the state of Nigeria has continued to elicit diverse reactions from Nigerians.
But one thing many agree on is the fact that the former president has succeeded in getting the nation's attention. In that letter, the former president warned about insecurity in the country and how Nigeria could slide into chaos if the government does nothing.
Now, he says the security challenges can no longer be ignored, treated with nonchalance and swept under the carpet. Joining me is public affairs analyst Mayokun Ilo. Mayokun, it's good to have you join me right now.
Thank you. Good morning.
Now, the letter by the former president has been eliciting a lot of reactions from across Nigeria. Now, there has been comments from socio-cultural groups from different sides countering each other. But if we look at the factual issues, the daughter of the leader of Afenifere has just been killed in Ondo State. The mother of a former Nigerian Super Eagles coach, Samson Siase, has just been kidnapped in Bayelsa State. There are issues of killings in Benue State. There are issues of killing in Zamfara State. A traditional ruler in Daura, Katsina State, was kidnapped some time ago, not too long ago. These are factual. These are the issues across Nigeria. Why are we not looking at those things? And then letter by the former president drawing attention to these factualities is causing controversy amongst us.
You know, we all have voices, but our voices don't carry the same weight. You know, the issues have been there, exacerbated by social media. Maybe the reason why it seems they are existential issues is because for every one of these issues that adds to whatever has gone before, coupled with the power of social media, everybody gets to know about it instantly. Then you begin, you know, when it's affecting somebody in a distant land, we may not think much of it. But when it's by your neighbor, there's a saying that the dead that is killing your age mates, it's kind of knocking at your door.
But it seems every Nigerian has a pinch of this by either one of your neighbors or something, someone close to you somewhere, irrespective of where you live in this country.
Yeah, it's a real issue. And it's an issue of confidence in the ability of government to deliver. You know, if government does not do its part, once that trust, the element of trust in government, that implicit trust that, okay, my government has my back, if it's not there, then the government itself may lose credibility.
Is that what is going on now in Nigeria?
No, I wouldn't say we are there yet, but the risk is high. If the government is able to reverse the trend towards that cliff edge that we are getting to now, we can still say, okay, we have been able to salvage this position. I think that is what the former president was alluding to in that letter, that we should not be playing this game of brinkmanship, where at every point in time we drive the country towards the edge, then only for God or prayers and what have you to bring us back like a bit, then 2 months, 3 months, 6 months later, there's another issue that threatens our statehood. It's an issue, an existential crisis. Other countries are thinking of development, they're thinking of how to go to the moon and Mars and all the rest of them. We are still thinking of how to live together in this day and age. We are thinking of how to rear cattle. The problem that has been solved in US in 1860. Can't we just go there and look for models of what has been done? If you don't want to follow the US model, go to South Africa, go to Sweden, look at how it's done in UK, and bring all of us together.
We've even known how to do it in this country before, that we don't even have to go far.
The problem is we color things with colorations, with ethnic perceptions and the rest of them. You should look at the issues objectively and solve the problem for everybody concerned.
Thank you very much, Mayokun Ilo, for joining us on the program.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Right.